судьба России в значительной степени.
The fate of Russia, to a large extent, has always been exclusively in the hands of the Russian people. But right now, at the forefront, both in the literal and figurative sense of the word, are our military, and they are solving historically important tasks for our country. Both the guys on the front line directly, and those on the forward positions, and of course, the commanders. As you may have noticed, I met with all the commanders of our groupings that are fighting on the line of combat contact. And, of course, I invited them to the Peter and Paul Cathedral, at the Peter and Paul Fortress, specifically to the burial vault of our sovereigns and Tsars. Indeed, we first laid flowers on the tomb of Peter I. Why? I think that's also quite understandable, because it was Peter I who laid the basic, fundamental foundations of the modern Russian state. Whatever it has been called, the Russian Empire or the Soviet Union, the basic, fundamental foundations were laid precisely by Peter I. And our military in general, both the commanders and our fighters, officers on the ground, are essentially defending what Peter I once created and what his successors later strengthened. At different times, Russia's fate has developed in different ways. It has grown larger or smaller. Under Catherine II, her tomb is also right there next to Peter I's. In fact, Russia made its greatest territorial acquisitions, as is well known. So we paid tribute to those people who contributed a unique, fundamental role in shaping our state. Later, with my military colleagues, we simply held a meeting. They reported to me on the situation at each section of the front for which they are each responsible. After that, we had lunch together, essentially continuing the same conversation but in an informal setting. And since it's your birthday, it's customary to bring gifts. Did they give you a gift? They did. They did. Well, there were various military-themed items, figurines, books, but two of them had special significance. One of the commanders gave me two icons that had belonged to our soldiers, and those icons had saved their lives. They still bear the dents from bullets, and these icons were presented to me as a gift. I'm very grateful to them, and I'll definitely find them and talk to them. But even now, taking this opportunity, as they say, I want to convey through the media my sincerest words of gratitude, and may God protect them as he has so far. In Kiev, Zelensky threatens to strike Russia with Tomahawks, practically at the Kremlin itself. Some say this is a kind of blackmail against Russia. You're right. It's both blackmail and a bluff. There's an element of posturing in it. In this regard, a question. The Americans say everything depends on Russia's negotiating position on Ukraine. And if our negotiating positions don't suit them, they'll proceed accordingly. Is our response ready for that? Our response is to strengthen the air defense system of the Russian Federation. As is already known, you have proposed extending the Strategic Arms Limitation Treaty, which is set to expire very soon, in February 2026. And, judging by the initial statements from Washington, Trump seems to not be opposed. Are there any signals through closed, perhaps, channels that Washington is indeed ready to conduct such consultations? Will 4 months be enough to get all of this done? And am I right in understanding that a new personal meeting with your American counterpart will be necessary? Thank you. We have contact through the Foreign Ministry and the State Department. Will a few months be enough to make a decision on the extension? I think it will be sufficient if there is goodwill to extend these agreements. And if the American side decides that it's not needed, it's not critical for us at all. Everything is going according to plan on our side, as I have already mentioned, and it's no secret. The novelty of our nuclear deterrence means is higher than any other nuclear state, and we are actively developing all this. What I said in previous times, in previous years, is all being developed. We are refining it, and I think we will be able to announce soon new weapons we once announced. They are emerging, undergoing tests, and they are successful. As for the intercontinental component at sea and in the air, I repeat, novelty, modernity, as the military say, is at a very high level with us, and we maintain it. We are ready to negotiate if it is acceptable and useful for the Americans, for the American side. If not, then no. But it would be a pity because nothing will remain in terms of deterrence in the area of strategic arms. Connecting the Nobel Peace Prize with the supply of weapons is absurd and merely speaks to the overall level of the current Kiev regime.
You mentioned that one of the countries is preparing to test nuclear weapons. Please tell us, is this country the USA? If, as you said, Russia will respond metrically and also test nuclear weapons, won't this throw our countries and all of humanity back to the 90s, when the whole world refused to test nuclear weapons, and won't it provoke a new nuclear race between Moscow and Washington?
Thank you.
Я думаю, что на самом деле, если говорить по-честному.
I think, honestly, a certain race is going on. Whether it will set us back or not is hard to say, but I didn't say the USA is preparing. I said some countries are preparing for tests. This is also well known to specialists, because there is always a temptation to check the effectiveness of the war fuel that has been stored in missiles for many, many years. No, on computers, this is all simulated. Specialists believe this is sufficient, but some of these specialists feel that natural tests should be conducted. And in some countries, they are thinking about it, as far as we know, even preparing. So I said that if they conduct tests, we will do the same. Well, is this good or bad? In terms of ensuring security, good. In terms of the overall picture related to deterrence, actions aimed not at reducing, but at containing the arms race, it's probably not bad. But in this context, our proposal to extend START 3 for at least a year.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest newsmakers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the US will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry guards.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.